Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm super excited to make this video for you today because it's about a cool piece of technology that I found while I was searching for my next opportunity in the tech world. Now, the product I'm talking about is from a company called Segment. And Segment is a customer data platform that collects, transforms, sends, and even archives data that you may be collecting from maybe your website or mobile app, or maybe you're taking in data from Facebook ads and want to archive that somewhere else. Segment really does all of the hard work for you. This really eliminates any need to really dive crazy deep into all these different API documentations and figuring out how you're going to implement it in your website. Segment handles the data for you so that you can pretty much just add it and let it do the rest and put it in the right place. Now, this will all make sense once I show it to you. I have a small example that is going to show you a couple different things from it. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so before I actually show you some code and how I've implemented it, I want to just glance over the spec overview with you because they provide 6 different API calls that you can use, and they do a great job of simply explaining what you might want to use each for. So there's identify, track, page, screen, group, and alias. And the main 2 that I'm going to focus on today are track and page. I'm not going to do anything too complicated, as you will see soon, but I think these 2 are great ones to get started with, and specifically track, you can do a lot with it. So I think that is honestly one of the coolest ones. So now that we are familiar with some of the API call names, I want to at least first get you guys set up from the dashboard. Okay, so once you sign up and create an account, and by the way, this is totally free to try, although there are some plans that do block out some features, understandably, but what they give you for free is honestly great, and there's really no excuse not to at least use Google Analytics or something in your project. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So when you first go to this dashboard, your overview, there's a connections tab, and you'll see your sources and destinations. Now, I've already connected a source and I've already connected a destination, so you won't see that. But as you can see, when I hover it, it tells me exactly that this source is going to that. And if you have more than one, or you maybe have a bunch of destinations, this is being sent to 4 or 5 or 6, then you will see a nice line to each of them. And honestly, this is a beautiful layout. So say you want to add a source. Say you have a simple HTML website, maybe one JavaScript file, just something that you want to track. Let's add a source here. And this is a website, so I'll choose JavaScript. And this will give you a little bit of information. All right, so once you've decided to use this, you'll be taken to this setup. So you can give it a name, a label to help you organize. So they suggest dev or production, website URL, and then the region that's closest to you. So for me, that's Oregon. So I'm not going to be fully setting up an entirely new one, but just for the purposes of showing you everything, I will use my personal website, chaselancaster.dev. Let's just label it as a dev environment, add that source. So now it's going to take you to this page here, which shows you a snippet of code that they suggest pasting as high as possible in the head of your website. So if you're in just a straight HTML file, this should be pretty self-explanatory. And I know this is possible with React, however, I haven't experimented with that just yet, but because I mostly code in React, that's the next step for me. So say you have this, you can copy it, and you will get a little key here, and I'm going to delete this right after the video so it doesn't matter too much in this instance, but you would copy the snippet and paste it in your head. And then once you're done with that, you have your choice of where do you want the data to be sent to. Now keep in mind, Segment is actually storing this data on their end as well, so you honestly could just roll with one source and then go to the debugger and see what's happening. But I think it's beneficial to at least connect one source so you can really get the full picture of what this has to offer. So let's go to Google Analytics, and you can read the description if you want, but let's configure Google Analytics. And here's where you choose your source. So as you can see, I have Segment Practice, which is what I've been playing around with. And then there's JavaScript 2, which we just created. And as you can see, it's the dev environment here. So we'll confirm source. And now all you have to do from here is enter your website tracking ID. Now you can find this, they tell you right where to find it. It's in the admin panel of your Google Analytics. You would paste that in and then you would toggle it on up here. So once you're done with that, that's all you have to do to connect with Google Analytics. So let's say you have your source connected already, and you've added it to the header of your website. Well, I want to give you an example of what happens immediately once you've got it hooked up. So here, I've taken a simple HTML template. I'll link it down in the description below. So none of this was exactly hard-coded by me, but I did change a couple things. So right away, I'm on index.html. Let me refresh this a couple times here. And now, if I go back to that source that this is connected to, so that's segment practice, and I go to the debugger, we can tell that at 8:12 p.m., someone landed on index.html. All right, now how about maybe I'm a user and I'm like, let's see what this food website has going on here. So I go to the About Me. Well, let's go back and see. And as you can see, it's already there. So the debugger updates in real time, which is super cool. And it would work for services, it would work for contact. So as you can see, once you've pasted in the initial script, the page API is already attached to that. So you honestly don't have to do much work when it comes to that API, and you can change some stuff, but it is built into that initial script. So let me go to my code here. As you can see, I've added it to the top here, but let's say that the user is going to, let me go back to the website here. Let's say the user goes to About and they like what you have going on here. So they click Get in Touch. Well, I'll click Get in Touch here and I'll go back to my sources. And as you can see, the Get in Touch button was clicked as a track event. So I'm using the track API for that. And as you can see, I also landed on contact because that button took me to the contact page. So let me show you how easy that was. So in the About, I have analytics.js at the top. And in this simple script tag down here, I've written a function called track get in touch. Now this is really simple. I have a console log down here that I actually can get rid of now. I can save that, and all I've done is analytics.track get in touch button clicked. So there's more you can add on to that. So say this was actually just, say it was a log, a register. Let's call it register. Well, you can add properties and say name, chase, email, chase@chase.com. Let's go with that, and let's just pretend that this was registered, or let's say user registered. I'll save that. I'll go back to my website, go back to the About. Let me click Get in Touch. So we're pretending like I just registered, and here, user registered. So it's really that easy to actually describe what's going on. And of course, I've passed in the properties as a second argument, so that's entirely up to you. It can be as simple as how I started, or a little more complicated. It's all in the documentation. They have great docs. This video is more for a demo purpose, but I'm just showing you how easy it is to actually get started with it. And now I honestly I can't see myself not at least sending data to Google Analytics. So there's one more thing I want to show you. So as we know, we clicked a button to get to this contact page. Well, let's say you're with a company and you want to track what are people doing once they get to the contact page? Well, I actually have added a track event where if someone clicks the LinkedIn button, it'll actually register that. So we went to LinkedIn there. Let me go back here. LinkedIn icon has been clicked. So if I go to the contact page, let me find that icon. It's hard to find sometimes, but I'll show you the function first. So in the script tag, I just did function LinkedIn clicked. Again, analytics.track LinkedIn icon clicked. And it's just it's gotta be here somewhere. There we go. So an on-click event where I added the function there. And that is honestly pretty much it as far as how easy it is to get up and running. Now there's a couple things I want to show you. So as you can see, it's tracking everything now. But if you remember, I did connect it to Google Analytics. So let's head over to Google Analytics. Let me give it a good refresh. It should have just been dynamically updating, but as you can see, there's one active user on the site, that being me. So let's go to the real-time analytics. Maybe let's just go to the overview. And from here, you can see the top referrals is coming from, well, my local address right here. And the contact HTML happens to be the top active page. So that's already interesting. And as you know, we've been tracking events as well. So Segment has beautifully sent it all the way over here. So we have the user registered event that happened with one active user, get in touch button clicked, LinkedIn icon clicked. So it's all going to Google Analytics and it's going to Segment. And I think that is just beautiful. But the crazy part is I could have had 3 or 4 different destinations where all this data was going to, and I only had to do that singular track call, and Segment handles the rest. So that is the beauty of this product. I think it's super exciting, and I think honestly most people should be using this because as you can see, it's easy to set up, but it can get pretty deep. So I encourage you to check out the documentation. Alright guys, that is it for this video. I know I didn't get too deep within the actual product, but there's a lot to learn with it and I'm still learning a lot from it. But I wanted to encourage you guys to actually check this out because it's really fast to set up, and honestly you can learn a lot from it by just seeing where your users are going on your website or mobile app and what they are actually doing. And that data can be very valuable and might come in handy if you're talking to an employer or a coworker or really anyone that has any interest in whatever your website or piece of technology is actually doing. So I encourage you guys to check out Segment down below. I've got the link in the description. I've got the link for that HTML template below. Links to all the music and my socials are down below as well. And if you have any questions about Segment, drop a comment down below or hit me up on one of my social media platforms and I will get back to you guys there. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day and I will see you guys later. Peace.